They called it Comet Varos, a wanderer older than civilization. It wasn't supposed to slow down, but it did. Astronomers believed it was impossible. Objects in space don't hesitate, they don't pause, they don't wait. Varos was born in the sun's first breath, back when planets were molten and the sky had no stars. For eons, it carried frozen clues: water, carbon, meteoric dust, and something else. Something artificial? The question was no longer where it came from, but why it stopped. Governments reacted not with fear, but with silent, terrifying speed. Codenamed Acheron, it was humanity's fastest reaction to the impossible. The crew was a mix of the brilliant and the expendable. The goal was simple: intercept, analyze, and if necessary, secure the artifact. A silent scream into the silence of space. The journey was measured not in miles, but in the growing dread of the unknown. Each day brought them closer to Varos, and closer to the time it was frozen. Then the ship's sensor logs began repeating the anomalous data. It was waiting for them, and it knew they were coming. The ship could not dock. Varos offered no port, only a surface of primordial, unstable ice. The first team, led by Commander Elias, prepared for a hard tether onto the crust. Temperatures dropped to near absolute zero. Every movement was a calculated risk. The analysis confirmed the shocking truth: a dense, impossible core of artificial material. The only way in was through the ancient ice. 10,000 years of frozen silence was about to be broken. Past the primordial dust, past the fossilized water, until they reached the perimeter. The cold of space was gone, replaced by a temperature that felt regulated. The interior was a paradox, a machine built from nothing, housed in the oldest ice in the universe. They were inside the core, the repository of something truly ancient. The archive wasn't physical. It was light, memory, and data flowing in 3 dimensions. Dr. An, the mission's linguist, believed she could trace the flow back to its source. The first translated words were fragments: awaiting, and the cycle, and the first warning. The true purpose of Varos wasn't to deliver a message, it was to wait for the right moment. The moment when a civilization reached a threshold, a moment we had just passed. The archive was activating. A clock that had run for 10,000 years was finally sounding. They had triggered the warning, and the warning triggered the defense. It had been a trap, a frozen cosmic alarm. The moment the archive woke, the rules of the mission changed. Survival became the only objective. The defense system was ancient, yet instantly adaptive. It was built to contain the impossible. They were chased out of 10,000 years of history and into immediate danger. The comet was shaking itself apart, releasing the pressure it had held for eons. The crew was exposed on the surface, caught between the seismic collapse and the accelerating pulse. Commander Elias made the call: abandon the tethers, go free. They were adrift, flung into the gravitational chaos of the crumbling comet. The ship's retrieval systems were the last hope against the growing energy field. But Varos had one final warning for the solar system. The speed was impossible. Varos, the geological wanderer, was moving with the intent of a guided missile. The pilot could only react. Every system on the Acheron was pushed past its breaking point. The pursuit wasn't linear. The comet was performing maneuvers no object of its mass should allow. It was hunting, and the closer they got to Earth's protective boundary, the more violent Varos became. Dr. An realized the implication of the warning.
Look at the
It wasn't about
trajectory.
them. Varos was a shepherd, and it was driving something else, something massive, toward our solar system. The 10,000 years of waiting was not for us to evolve. It was for it to arrive. The Acheron became the messenger. Their only chance was to outrun the shepherd and fire the warning beacon. They knew Varos would follow. They had to ensure the warning arrived first. The wait was over. The game had begun. The beacon arrived first, a single frantic data burst that shattered the world's fragile calm. For a moment, global leadership hesitated. Then the images from Acheron arrived. Denial quickly turned to mobilization. Every nation on Earth recognized the urgency. The message was clear. The comet was a shield. The object behind it was a weapon. Panic followed the truth. There was no time for evacuation, only for hardening. In underground bunkers and command centers, humanity prepared for the unthinkable. Our defense was our final, desperate Hail Mary. Weapons designed for distant conflicts were aimed at the void. The global community had achieved perfect, terrified unity. But Dr. On's final calculations confirmed the chilling inevitability of the comet's maneuver. There was no defense, only preparation for the impact of a truth older than mankind. The moment of contact was measured not in seconds, but in the final, terrifying silence. Interceptors fired their payload, a final act of defiance that Varro simply ignored. The comet crossed the threshold, and then it fractured. It was not a weapon. It was a massive, decentralized net. The shield had been deployed. The object was stopped, not destroyed, but absorbed into the shield, its power neutralized. The true purpose of Varos was not to warn us of the threat, but to protect us from it. The comet was a failsafe, a sentinel built at the dawn of the solar system, coded to wait. It reformed, its purpose fulfilled. The 10,000 years of waiting was over. It left a final, silent message in the memory of the light. Until the next cycle, the comet that waited 10,000 years returned to its endless vigil.